you think you can spot a psychopath, you're probably wrong. Because the most dangerous people in your life don't look like monsters. They look like friends. We've been trained by movies to look for the monster, the violent outsider. But the real danger, the one that causes the most widespread damage, doesn't look like a monster at all. It looks like the most charming person in the room. It's the charismatic new boss, the perfectly attentive partner, the fascinating friend with a tragic backstory. They are masters of disguise, and their primary weapon is your own goodwill. Most people only recognize the pattern of their behavior after the damage is already done to their career, their finances, and their mental health. This is not a sensationalized video. This is a protective guide. We are going to move beyond the stereotypes and decode 7 subtle research-backed signs that forensic psychologists and criminal profilers use to identify these individuals. This knowledge is not meant to make you paranoid. It's meant to make you perceptive. Let's begin. 1. Weaponized charm. The first sign is the most seductive and the most dangerous. It's not just charisma, it's a calculated, weaponized charm. Normal friendliness is warm and radiates outward. Psychopathic charm is a laser beam directed at you. They seem to understand you perfectly. They mirror your hopes, your insecurities, and your sense of humor with uncanny precision. It feels like you've finally met someone who gets you. The hidden reality is that this is not a connection. It's a performance. Dr. Robert Hare, the creator of the psychopathy checklist used by the FBI, identifies this superficial charm as a primary tool of a predator. It's a hunting technique used to assess your vulnerabilities and gain your trust. The key is that this charm can be switched on and off, like a light bulb. Think of a charismatic startup founder. In front of investors and new hires, he's a visionary, charming, inspiring, and empathetic. But employees who have been there for a while see a different person in private. The moment the important people leave the room, the warmth vanishes, replaced by a cold, dismissive, and calculating demeanor. Watch for charm that is intense, perfectly tailored to you, and disappears the moment they no longer need something. That's not a personality. That's a mask. 2. Believing they are superior and above the rules. Beneath the charming facade lies the engine that drives their behavior, a profound, unshakable belief in their own superiority. This often appears as incredible self-confidence. They seem bold, ambitious, and destined for greatness. They talk about their grand plans and their unique talents, and their certainty is magnetic. This isn't healthy self-esteem. It's a grandiose sense of entitlement. They genuinely believe they are above the rules that apply to everyone else. They see other people not as equals, but as tools or obstacles in the path of their own destiny. This is why they feel no guilt when they exploit others. They believe it is their right. Consider a new person in a social circle who subtly dominates every conversation. They don't just share stories, they hold court. They dismiss the achievements of others while inflating their own. If someone challenges them, they don't debate. They react with a cold fury, as if the very idea of being questioned is an insult to their existence. Look for a person who consistently acts as if the normal rules of social reciprocity and respect do not apply to them. Their confidence isn't just high, it's a justification for their exploitation of others. 3. Pathological lying and gaslighting. To maintain their mask and their sense of superiority, they rely on a constant stream of deception. They are captivating storytellers. Their lives seem exciting, dramatic, and full of incredible triumphs and tragic victimhood. Much of what they say is a lie, designed to keep you disoriented and under their control. This isn't just telling white lies, it's pathological lying. They lie when there is no reason to lie. They lie to make themselves look better, but also just for the sheer pleasure of getting away with it. When confronted with a lie, they will deny, deflect, and often engage in gaslighting, making you question your own sanity and perception of reality. The philosopher Hannah Arendt observed that the goal of constant lying is not just to make people believe the lies, but to destroy their ability to believe in anything at all. A person who doesn't trust their own judgment is much easier to control. You catch your new partner in a clear lie. When you confront them with evidence, they don't apologize. Instead, they twist it. You're crazy for thinking that. You're being too sensitive. Or they rewrite the past entirely, stating with absolute certainty that the event you remember never happened. They do this with such conviction that you walk away feeling confused and questioning your own memory. Frequent, unnecessary lies, combined with a total refusal to admit fault. When a conversation about their lie ends with you feeling like you're the crazy one, you are likely being gaslighted. 4. A complete lack of empathy and real emotions. This is perhaps the most unsettling sign. The realization that behind the charming mask, there is nothing there. They can perform emotions perfectly. They can show theatrical rage, profound sadness, or incredible joy. They've spent their lives studying human reactions and are excellent actors. They don't actually feel these emotions. This is called an affective deficit. Neuroscience shows that psychopaths' brains have reduced activity in the areas responsible for processing emotions like fear and empathy. Their emotional life is a shallow pond, not a deep ocean. This is why they can describe a traumatic event from their past with a chilling lack of emotion. It's why they might have an inappropriate reaction, like a slight smirk when hearing bad news. What clinicians call the dead eyes moment is when this mask momentarily slips, revealing a profound and unnerving emptiness. The Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius trained themselves to respond to events with reason, not passion. But this was a choice, a discipline. For a psychopath, it is not a choice. It is their factory setting. They cannot feel empathy and therefore cannot be reasoned with on an emotional level. A consistent mismatch between the intensity of a situation and their emotional reaction to it. Watch for emotions that seem performed rather than felt. 5. Always playing the victim to manipulate you. This is one of their most powerful tools of manipulation, designed to weaponize your own compassion against you. They seem like a noble, innocent victim. They have a collection of tragic stories about crazy exes, toxic family members, or jealous colleagues who have betrayed them despite their own goodness. Your protective instincts are immediately activated. This is tactical victimhood. Unlike genuine victims, their stories are carefully crafted to achieve a specific goal, to gain your sympathy, to isolate you from people who might warn you, and to justify their parasitic behavior. They are always the hero of their own tragic story. A new co-worker spends their first few weeks telling you elaborate stories of how they were persecuted and misunderstood at their last job. They were too talented, and their boss was jealous. They were the only one with integrity in a corrupt system. They position themselves as a lone warrior. This makes you feel special for recognizing their true worth and makes you suspicious of anyone from their past who might contact you. A person whose life is a constant, dramatic opera of persecution in which they are always the blameless victim. Question: any story that seems designed to make you feel like you are the only one who truly understands them. 6. A pattern of using and exploiting others. Relationships, for a psychopath, are not about connection. They are about resources. They seem incredibly interested in you and your life. They make you feel seen and important. They are not interested in you. They are interested in what you have. This is a parasitic lifestyle. They view people as a collection of assets, money, housing, connections, status, or emotional support. They will identify what you have that they want and create a relationship specifically to extract it. The friend who moves onto your couch for just a week and is still there 6 months later. They charm you and your friends. They promise they're just about to get back on their feet, but they never contribute. They use your car, eat your food, and leverage your social network, all while making you feel like you're the one who is lucky to have such a fun and interesting person in your life. A key tactic is to slowly isolate you from anyone who questions their behavior, calling them jealous or negative, a person who is constantly taking and rarely giving, and who reacts with anger or manipulation when their source of supply is threatened. 7. An enjoyment of causing chaos and pain. This is the final and most disturbing sign because it reveals their true motivation is not just selfishness, but a genuine enjoyment of chaos and suffering. They can appear to be a loyal friend or a passionate advocate. This is recreational cruelty. They deliberately harm others for minimal gain or for pure entertainment. Unlike normal conflict, their destructive acts are calculated and often seem purposeless. The philosopher Immanuel Kant argued that the highest moral law is to treat other people as an end in themselves, never merely as a means to an end. The psychopath does the opposite. They treat people as a means to an end, or worse, as objects in a game they are playing for their own amusement. An office worker who, bored on a Tuesday afternoon, starts a subtle rumor that pits two of their best friends against each other. They don't gain anything from this. There is no promotion or advantage. They simply enjoy sitting back and watching the emotional fallout with a detached, almost scientific curiosity. They take pleasure in breaking things just to see how they work. A pattern of small, seemingly pointless cruelties, or a history of creating drama and conflict wherever they go. They seem to enjoy the chaos. So, what do you do if you recognize this pattern in someone? The most effective strategy is what psychologists call the grey rock method. You must become as boring and unresponsive as a grey rock. Direct confrontation is a mistake. They will see it as a challenge and will escalate their manipulation. Instead, reduce emotional responsiveness. Do not show them anger, fear, or joy. These are their food. Give minimal, boring information about your life. Quietly secure your finances, documents, and support network without their knowledge. By providing no emotional reaction, you become an unsatisfying target, and they will eventually leave to find a more stimulating one. Appeals to empathy, fairness, or couples therapy will fail because you are dealing with a person with a fundamentally different neurological wiring. The scientific consensus is that psychopathy is essentially untreatable. Therapy often just teaches them the language of emotion, making them more effective manipulators. These 7 signs form a constellation of behaviors that signal genuine danger. This knowledge is not meant to make you less trusting of everyone. It is meant to make you more aware of specific, research-validated patterns. Your inability to understand their behavior was not a weakness. It was your healthy brain struggling to comprehend a mind that is wired completely differently. Trust your instincts. When a pattern feels deeply wrong, it probably is. Your awareness is your greatest protection.